and welcome to another edition of Hello for the Other Side. It's a special this time. It's playoff Wembley special. And I'm joined by Joe from Red All Over it once again. How are we doing, Joe?
I am terrified and excited in equal measure, as I'm sure every Barnsley and Wednesday fan is at this current moment in time.
No doubt. So obviously, Wednesday we're at Wembley. What can we say? Obviously, a week last Friday, not looking the best. Obviously, the euphoria of Thursday night, got over it. Penalties, absolute Hillsborough rocking, fantastic. Then that was it. We had to wait till Friday to see who we were going to be playing. Obviously, we know the result. We've got the guy sat in front of me here talking to me. So, Barnsley, it is South Yorkshire taking over London, Joe. What do we think?
I mean, it's a great advert for South Yorkshire, and fair play to both clubs. I know Wednesday fans will think that should have gone up automatic with points, and I totally agree with that. But the best two sides, I've been saying all season, towards back end of seasons anyway, that there's four sides that deserve promotion this season. Unfortunately, only three is going to get there, but it could have been two if Bolton and Peterborough got to the final. So at least it's, from that point of view, from a neutral point of view, you can look at it and say that 3 out of 4 best sides are going to go up, but one is going to miss out. So, yeah. A bit, I'm excited. I'm confident going into it. I'm sure you guys are after your 4-0 comeback. I mean, that was just something else. I don't know what. I feel a bit like, to be honest though, Ash, I didn't give y'all any stick on Twitter. I don't like that. I kept it very quiet because I just thought Peterborough's defence. I'm not saying I predicted that you'd come back. I really didn't think you would, but I were just a little cautious. So, it's one of them. I said to my mate who was a Wednesday night, we had a good, after that 4-0 defeat, we had a bit of it felt like a counselling session anday. I had a 40-minute chat after footy about how, what had gone wrong and all that. But I did say to him, I says, if you get one early, you just never know. And they did. And, fair play. Absolutely incredible achievement to make it to the final. I can't wait. Can't wait.
It was, mate. It was. I said it on Twitter, and it was the best live football match, best probably football match I've seen. It was just amazing. There is the relief and obviously the outpouring of absolute relief and excitement and passion from all the fans and everything. It was just something. It was one of them I was there moments, and it's great that we turned it around. And like you said, exactly, I said the same, and a lot of Wednesday I said the same. Score early, which we did. 9 minutes of penalty, which is a gift. It was a penalty though, and then that's it. We just built on that. And Peterborough, like you said, their defence was shocking. They didn't really offer a great deal up front either. So happy days. It was that. It was like half time, and then obviously penalties. Everyone straight on if you weren't on the pitch, straight on your phones, booking your hotels, booking your travel, obviously to get to Wembley for the bank holiday weekend. It's going to be great, like I say, South Yorkshire, Barnsley. For me, I agree with you with the best 4 teams. I thought the playoffs produced, the semi-finals produced the matchups that I think was right. The results went right, and I do think it is good that Barnsley and Sheffield Wednesday are both in the final because, like you say, we're masters of our own demise. 96 points, going well. Come to Oakwell, and obviously we know the rest. And but we're there, so it's going to be great. I'll start off a little bit. Obviously, I was going to say, are you a bit worried about obviously your form going in because your last few league games, but it's a playoff final. It's a one-off game. There's no form. It is going to be who wants it, who's going to turn up, who's going to have the fans behind them, both east and west side of stadium. So yeah, what's your thoughts? Obviously, do you think that the form that you took into the playoffs weren't the best?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I'm a full believer in momentum, all that sort of stuff. Before we went into games against Bolton, I said on our show, I said, we're at 2016. We were a team that were bottom at league in November. We came all the way back. We flew up all the way to league. We snuck into playoffs in the last week or two, and we went and got promoted. We had momentum. Yeah. So for me, I've always been a big believer momentum matters. But then Michael Duff went to make me look a bit daft when Barnsley turned up and played really well against Bolton and did the job. So, it shows what I know about footy. But so fair play. Like we weren't at our best last few weeks at season, and that showed in results and how we played, like 4-4 against MK Dons, obviously losing to Peterborough last game of season. But then we turned up against Bolton, and they were a really tough side. I knew they were going to be. They were the team I did not want to play in the playoffs, to be honest, because they reminded me a bit of Swansea when we got in playoffs in Championship. Just very hard to break down, really tough to score against. And then they got Charles up front, who's a natural goal scorer. So I'm relieved to get through that. I thought that was going to be a really tough tie for us, and it was. It was just a couple of moments of quality that's managed to get us through that tie. But we did play so much better in those games. So yeah, for me, like if we can perform like we did against Bolton, and we can perform like we've done against you guys in the league this season, then I've got every confidence. It's that we'll be able to give it a good shot.
Well, I was gonna bring up. Obviously, we've got to bring up the two games, home and away at Hillsborough, at Oakwell, between the two sides. Didn't really go well for the Owls, but so it's a different, like I say, it's a different game. We're at neutral territory. It's going to be something that not a lot of the players have experienced before. So it's. I'm going to discount them two results because I can.
So you might,
because I can. But I would see that a lot of people would see you as favourites purely on the results against Sheffield Wednesday. And how easily you beat us at Hillsborough as well, because you did. We suffered one loss all season at the hands of the Reds. So I would see you slight favourites. How are Barnsley or yourself and the wider fans?
I guess it's so split, isn't it? It's so split. I mean, you look at it, you could, like, the world's talking about Wednesday at minute and that comeback. I mean, Pep Guardiola's talking about it, and you look at that and you think, Blumenek, like any neutral fans looking at that thinking they're going to go on and win it now. They've got, they'll be absolutely on cloud nine. But then if you look at the wider picture, we've obviously beat you guys twice this season. If I honestly, if I was a Wednesday, mentioned Swansea in playoffs, I did not want to play Swansea in playoffs because they were the only team in that playoff that basically out of the three other sides that they'd done a job on us both times that season. So I didn't want to play them. And unfortunately, I believe we'd have got through to the final if we'd have played, I think it was Brentford or Bournemouth. So for me, if I was a Wednesday fan, I don't know how you feel, Ash, but I probably wouldn't want to play Barnsley just based on those two results. So I'd probably prefer one of other teams. But like I said, you guys you're obviously flying into it after that 4-4, whatever it was in the end. I can't remember. But 5-1. My WhatsApp chat, I weren't watching it. I just got ping, ping, ping from WhatsApp chat. Oh, Wednesday have scored again. Oh, Peterborough. Oh, so anyway, so yeah, I think it's split down the middle. But as a Barnsley fan, this has been an incredible season for us. We spoke, I think, earlier in season, and I said to you we were expecting mid-table. So to be anywhere near playoffs was a massive achievement. And yeah, we have got some real quality. I think both of these teams are championship, teams pretty much. A little bit of strengthening as always when you go up, but both teams I think would be capable of competing in the championship. Our midfield, particularly with the likes of Luke O'Connell, is just next level. I mean, he's just next level. He's going to play in championship very soon for me. So there's some quality players in both sides. It's split down the middle. It's going to be an absolute classic. I can't wait. Honestly, I'm just so buzzing for this game. If we win, it'll be like the biggest dream in the world. And, whoever loses, it's a nightmare. So,
it's a lot. It's a long old way back into it from Wembley, the M1 or A1, whichever way you go. If you lose,
when you've got opposition waving it, you go, "Hey, have a bit of that."
When the coaches going past each other, yeah, definitely that will happen. And it all depends on which colour coach is waving and which one's sleeping. I think that'll be. It's for me. Yes, I am. I'm very much. We did hit a bit of form at the end of the season. Obviously, come up against abomination of a result, which it just knocked us for 6. Then the euphoria, the result to get here. We had, from previous when we played with Oakwell and it was 4-2. We did have some injuries. I mean, Windass has come back and he's he's come back like a different player from his injury as well. He really has put shifts in and worked. So for him, he's going to be an added plus for us. I don't know. Obviously, forgive me. I don't know. Obviously, your situation with injuries, or have you had some players coming back, or are you a fullish strength squad?
Yeah, fully strength. The last few weeks in season, there was a few niggles, and I think it was just precaution. To be honest, looking back at it now, it's clear that it was just let's just rest him for playoffs, and that's why we had a few sticky results. So yeah, like I said earlier in the show, I would have liked to have more momentum going into it, but it really didn't matter. And so, fair play. Michael Duff got it spot on. Gave the lads a little bit of rest who needed it, and now we're fighting fit, fully fit. Yeah, and obviously, like you say, you've got Windass back, so that'll be different. Apparently, Gregory's got his mask back, hasn't he? I didn't hide it well enough. Didn't hide it well enough, did I?
Yeah, it was.
I didn't have it really.
No. It got returned a few hours after the club posted something on Twitter. They got it back, and the guy who handed it back got a signed shirt, I believe, from Gregory. So yeah, everything's good there. We are still missing a couple of players that were out for the season. Byers obviously is the big one for us. But obviously he wasn't there when we played you at Oakwell, so there's nothing to compare with. I am optimistic. I really am. It's been a great season for Sheffield Wednesday. Like I said, 96 points. It's his own fault for whatever reason it is. We didn't get quite over the line, and Plymouth and Ipswich were relentless. So fair play to them. That's it. We are where we are now. Monday, 3:00. It's going to be red against blue and white. We could talk. We could just keep saying that all night, couldn't we? The South Yorkshire, we're going to go down. London, it's just going to be a sea of Yorkshiremen and women, kids, and everyone that's going to be there. It's going to be great. I mean, it's we mentioned it just before we came on recording, didn't we, Joe? And it's going to be the first time this season for either of these sides that's had VAR.
Yeah.
So for the final, for some I don't know what your thoughts. I'll ask your thoughts in a minute, but I will give mine now. Unknown reason that they've decided for League One and for all the playoffs, I believe that it's going to be VAR is going to be available for the final. Now, for a competition that has been going for 46 matches, home and away, you go all over the country, you play each team twice to come down. Well, no, we play team 4 times, obviously in Peterborough's case, and yours Bolton. And you come down to the final, and then they change the rules, which they have. VAR. Now, I am so against it, and I pray, and I think that obviously if a decision goes for Wednesday, I will take it all day long, and it wins us promotion. Yes, it's the greatest thing on earth, but VAR, if it costs us, it's going to be a travesty. So, Joe, what do you think then on the introduction of VAR?
See, I have a controversial view. So, if Wednesday fans could dislike me any more than they already do, just because I'm a Barnsley fan, here we go. Look, this season's been. I'm not someone who goes around criticising refs lightly, and it's a really tough job. But this season has been really tough against Barnsley, and I know that every fan from every club who's watching this will say, "Well, we had this decision and that." Yeah, I totally get it. I'm not one that when it comes to those seasons where you go, oh, okay, that one could have gone against us, that one went for us. This season, I can think of 2 occasions where something's gone for us, which were a couple of offsides that probably were just on. One against Portsmouth, one against Ipswich early in the season. But honestly, mate, I have never seen a season where we've had so many penalties not given. We've had lots given against, which a lot of them were, which is fair enough, but not given. The amount of stonewallers where we've looked at it and just gone, that's a penalty, and we've not had them. Yeah. Like, it does make you want VAR because you can't, it's hard. The job is hard for officials, and you just think if they could have just had that bit of help. Okay, there was probably a 2 or 3 in there as usual where you look at it and go, yeah, okay, their fan base would say no, we'd say yes, as it, in terms of whether it were a penalty or not. But yeah, there's just been some real blatant ones where I'm not saying that it necessarily would have meant we got automatic promotion, because you look at the points difference at the end of the season, we were still far off. But this is the reason that I'm actually quite happy in a way that VAR's there, and if it costs us, I'll be coming back on this Monday night, absolutely saying that it was terrible. But I think it's all down to the usage of it. It's how they use it, and I think we are getting there, but it's taking time for officials, I think, to get used to it, particularly in England. And I think that we just need, if it's used well and it's used for the right things, those really obvious calls, niggly little opinionated ones, but the really obvious ones, then I think it can be a good thing. And I really won't want the final to be decided on something that was just clear, obvious and wrong. So I really hope it just stamps out that. I hope it doesn't break up the flow of the game, because this, like you've said, both teams absolutely flying at the minute. Both believe they can win this game. Both going into it full of confidence. I mean, what more do you want? That's what you want for a final. So really hope it just helps the officials, gives them a little bit of help. Me personally, I'd love to see it across all leagues once it's implemented in the right, like I said, as long as it's we've got the right guidelines on how they're using it and it's used well, because I do think we'd have probably had maybe 4 or 5 penalties extra. We've had one all season, and that was 3-0 up against Forest Green. So, woo! We were so excited. We missed it. We missed it anyway. So
I tell you what, I would have took 3-0 at Forest Green. I'd have took 3-0 at Forest Green. We won't be here, I think, if we'd have won that game.
Yeah,
I honestly believe that.
I have to agree.
I honestly believe that. It's just my thing is that the build up is going to be great. You're in there, you're watching game. Whoever scores, celebrate like mad. You are gonna, and then it's going to be all eyes to the big screen, just for the check or something. And I think it just takes a little bit away from that initial euphoria. You've gone one up, or you've scored an equaliser in the last minute or 98th minute if you want.
Yeah,
so I'm just
I totally see that, and to be honest, I agree with you in the sense that all season it's not been in, and then you bring it in for a big game. Like, what if there was a really controversial decision in the semi-finals in either of our games? Then you'd say it's just as there's as much jeopardy on those as there is on the final, pretty much. So I would have liked to see it in the semis and the final if we were going to. Yeah, to be honest, if we were going to have it in. I can understand it costs a lot of money, doesn't it? I imagine it does anyway. I'm just guessing, but throughout the season, so I can understand why it's not come down to our level yet. But I quite like it to be for me consistently and put in. But I'm sure there's many fans who disagree with that opinion right now, considering all the ones that have been wrong with it.
Of course, you'll never win. There's going to be a 50-50 argument all day about VAR for the pros and cons. It's just been so just give a little. Obviously, probably they're not going to care much here, Joe. But obviously, the Wednesday fans, just give them a bit of a taste of your day. Are you getting down there early? You're going to be there all weekend?
Yeah. So decided to. I mean, it's costing us all a bit, innit? Blooming heck.
Yeah, I know.
It's all right. I can say it on this because it's Wednesday in Barnsley. It was tight Yorkshire. We're good with it. Not tight. We're good with his money.
That's it.
I tell you what, it's hard to be good with your money for this trip because it's costly. But yeah, I'm going to do hotel overnight just because I want to. Doing a show like we do on YouTube, like Red All Over, we want to try and capture the atmosphere. It's a South Yorkshire derby in a final. Like, has this ever happened? I don't even think this has ever happened before. So it's like, it's going to be a historic day, whatever. I really hope we can get, a load of fans on to come and have a chat with us. If you see us, come say hello, Wednesday or Barnsley, and, just we'll do a bit of a sort of vloggy style, put something out end of day and be like, this will our highlights of the day sort of thing. Hopefully we're, a mixture of fans and hopefully something we can capture. So yeah, that's the plan for me, and then obviously enjoy it at 3:00. Just enjoy the match. I'll be totally focused on us getting that win, and then like you say, either celebrating or sleeping on the way home. Taking me if we lose, taking that sticker out just so no Wednesday fans are peeping at me on.
Oh yeah, that will happen, won't it? For whoever it'll go, whichever way it ends, and well, it'll end in a Wednesday win. I'm that confident. I've got to say, I've got to be. You've got to be, and you've got to be. You've got to back your team. They've got there. It's going to be an occasion for lots of fans. It's going to be. I don't know, what should we say? It's not going to be a sellout, is it? I mean, how are you? I know Barnsley have been putting out.
There's been some banter about that, haven't there?
Just a little bit. Yeah. Attendance FC, is it?
It's all right. We beat Louder FC in semi-finals. Bolton, they were getting it all way louder than you. Blooming heck. Who wins on pitch, guys? That's ultimately what's the thing. We're all good fans, all lot of us.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll hold my hands up as a Barnsley fan. When I know it's not a massive gap between your attendance and ours, but I admit I was a little bit shocked that we had a few. I didn't really get why we had a few hundred more. I assume it's just because that's our stadium split from what I can see. But
it is, yeah, from east and west side. I think the west side is slightly, it's 600 or 700 more extra seats, but 50-50 split is what it should be anyway. So regardless.
I mean, realistically, we've sold 20,000. Day two are selling tickets, so we're not going to be miles off, I don't think. But obviously, we know Wednesday, Sheffield's much bigger, and you've got a bigger fan base. We know that. It's no point pretending otherwise. So I'm just putting calls into all Ipswich fans, Plymouth fans, a few Blades in there. See the fancier day out. A couple of Hull fans who might. No, I'm kidding.
No, not Hull. No, yeah, it is, and I'm under no illusion. I mean, I don't get it. Your fans are your fans. If they turn up, they turn up. Like you said, that the size of Sheffield to Barnsley, there's going to be a discrepancy in the attendance. For me, I don't care. I just want whoever wants a ticket, a Sheffield Wednesday fan, to get there, be able to get there if they can afford to get there and everything. You should be there if you want to be there. For me, it's going to be a great atmosphere. The atmosphere is going to be brilliant.
It'd be incredible.
I was there for the championship final against Hull, and the atmosphere was fantastic. The result was shocking, but there you go. It's
we do call it Oatwell South, so it's interesting if that name continues to stick, because obviously we've had quite a bit of success at Wembley in recent times. So we're.
Well, I was going to bring that up. It's you are the form team at Wembley, should I say? You've had a lot more success than us, especially recently. So, for your team, and I know there's quite a lot of youngsters. You've got quite a young squad, haven't you? Do you think that is going to be? It's not an issue, because the professional players, they'll take everything in. But do you think that could be a negative on a team of youngsters or younger age going into what could be 70,000?
Again, it's hard to know, isn't it? I mean, it all depends on the mentality of the lads. I think Michael Duffy's a fantastic manager. Darren Murray's as well. And I believe that he's got the lads' mentality right. I mean, the atmosphere at Oatwell's improved a lot the second half of this season compared to where we were at the start of the season. It was very quiet, and now there's a lot of fans returned after what were a terrible season last year. Atmosphere has been really, really good for some of these big games, and the lads have thrived on it. There has been times in past where teams have not, and actually it's been more of a hindrance. But in this season, these lads have really thrived on an atmosphere. So I don't think that they'll have any problems with that. I think that in terms of the difference in squads, depends on how the game goes. If it goes to penalties, I'd be very, very nervous, because I think I always believe that you get your experienced heads, and I think Wednesday have got more experienced heads than us by quite a bit. Goes to penalties, as soon as you got to that penalty shootout with Peterborough, Wednesday had won it for me already before a ball was kicked in the penalty shootout. I'd be very nervous if it does. But on the pitch, we've obviously got a lot of energy. We're very youthful. Talked about that midfield. Herbie Kane, Luke O'Connell, Adam Phillips, they absolutely run their blood to war. They will, I'm confident they will outrun any other midfields in the league. So, and that's been a big key to our success. So I don't know how big the pitch is. Is it a myth or is it actually bigger? I think it is. It feels bigger anyway at Wembley.
It looks it feels it. But like I said, till you see the stats of what, I don't know. But I think the myth is that it is quite a bigger pitch.
One of the things one of my pals was saying, though, as a Wednesday fan, he did say to me, like, you'll not be able to press us as much on that big pitch. And that is something that I thought, fair point. Because obviously one of the things we've been key to beating you guys has been the press and that high pressure that we've put on you. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But obviously we've got plenty of energy. Like I said, I'm just a little bit concerned. As long as it doesn't go to all the way, that's when I'd feel a bit more nervous. But excited across 90 minutes and 120.
So I get exactly. I mean, for me, I would hope that the way the guys applied themselves against Peterborough. Don't get me wrong, we won't start with 5 strikers against Barnsley. We needed the early goals. We needed the pressure. I don't think Darren Moore's going to go like that, even though how well we played. and how well they pressed and hurried. They needed to get the goals. I would hope he's going to be a bit more reserved at the start. So for me, it's going to be a drastically different team that you saw on Thursday night. But Darren Moore's been criticised in the past for not having like plans B, C, D, and E, being very one-dimensional with his formation that he plays. He showed that on a high-pressure game on Thursday that he can make those decisions and be tactically sound in a thing. So I'm hoping that he's learned a little bit from that, and he's going to take that to Wembley. It's a different pitch, different atmosphere. So he's going to be, and I got from his post-match, inspired the players really. It gave them the belief. The players said they finished on the Friday night at Peterborough, and then they were in for 10, 11 o'clock Saturday morning. Darren Moore was there as well. So he doesn't like days off, the players have said. And I believe that was the same on Friday night. They were in Saturday afternoon watching game videotapes and things like that. So he's got the preparation. It's shown, and I'm thinking he's going to look at what happened at Oakwell. He's going to look at what happened in the home game, take that away, come up with some game plan that's just going to hopefully overrun Barnsley. I really do. I know you've said you've got the legs in midfield. You've got to play. We have got players in midfield. Yes, we've got Bannon. We've got Windass coming back. I mean, excuse me, Gregory has been really good when he's played for pressing. He's all over. So I think whoever Darren Moore goes with, if he plays Smith and Windass up front, or if he plays Gregory and Windass, or any combination, I don't think he'll play Smith and Gregory, but I think I've got it there. And I just, same as what you will say, just want him to win so bad. I gotta say,
yeah, it does mean everything, doesn't
it? It does, and it's going to be. And so we'll wrap this little special up. So just a bit of a it's a bit silly asking prediction because you're going to say you're going to beat us 3-0. I was just going to
say, is this the part where I have to say you're going to be? You're going to beat us. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, just get it out of the way. It's how we do it, isn't it?
Just get it out of the way. Just going to say Wednesday you're going to win. It's going to be a horrendous journey home for you, and that's it. But yeah, just final couple of words, Joe, from yourself about the game, and then
look, total respect. I think it's going to be an absolute quality game. I think we've talked about the strengths of both of these teams, confidence going into it. I do not see a situation, I hope I'm not jinxing it here, where it'll be 0-0 or neither team will score. I think that both teams will get chances and goals. And I predicted that second game when we played at Oakwell. So I think it will be a similar type of game in terms of just exciting, hopefully a good one to watch. I said before a ball was kicked this season that Barnsley would finish fourth, and I said that we would play Sheffield Wednesday in the playoff final. I didn't believe it when you were losing 4-0 to Peterborough, just to clarify that. But I just think that it's going to be. At the time, I said we'd win on penalties, but I'm obviously a bit nervous about that now. I'm going to change it. I think that Barnsley will win in extra time. I think it'd be 2-2. I think Barnsley will win 3-2 in extra time. That is my hope. Slight nerves that if Wednesday was to sneak one late on in that, but I'm gonna stick to my guns, say 3-2 Barnsley. I just think that both teams absolutely flying, both deserve to be in the championship. Only one can make it. Got to back the red side, obviously. Wednesday fans, feel free to clip that up and rub it in the face if we lose. I won't be on Twitter that night.
That's it. Or what I'll do, I'll just edit that out and I'll just put like Sheffield Wednesday or something from you. No, that's I'm sure you won't get any banter or any sort of comeback for that, mate. You know what Twitter's like. It's a heaven, isn't it, when you're winning? It's the armpit of the world when you lose.
All right, I've already timestamped when you said Wednesday we're going to beat us, Ash. Don't worry about it.
I believe that both teams will score exactly the same. I think Wednesday will win 2-1. I think it's going to be cagey first 20 minutes. We have had it in the past where we've started pretty slow. So if Barnsley do score in the first 20 minutes, then obviously the crowd, I'm sure they're not going to be, but it'll be a bit deflating first.
That's going to be an interesting point, isn't it? That's going to be the
Yeah.
interesting point, because that's what's happened essentially in the second game, and where we've done really well is when we've blown teams away early on. Where we've scored in the first 15 minutes, we've often gone on to score a second, and then suddenly all that stuff that you did against Peterborough, which was incredible, would be out of the window if that happened. But this is football, you know.
Exactly that. If we go and score first early, like you said, exactly said, you could see what happened against Peterborough. We scored early. We got the second goal in the first half. So if that happens, then
same way you could do it to us. So
yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be great. Thank you very much for joining us, Joe. Let the best blue team win. If I see you around Wembley, I'll buy you a commiseration pint, mate. How's that?
Well, to be fair, that's very generous. I don't know how much they are down there, but I bet they're a few more bob than what we're used to. So, so I'll take that.
It can only be from Wetherspoons. So there we go.
Right.
That's it. But thank you very much, guys. Enjoy yourself. It's going to be a great day. The atmosphere is going to be amazing. There's going to be thousands of owls there cheering the team on. To beat this guy's team here, Barnsley, on Monday, 3:00 kickoff. 3:00 kickoff.
Well, you've got to give you a bit of fun.
And mate, you can all you want, because you're going to look silly. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you after Monday.